Hi, this is Sunaina. Now may I request your attention please? The Bombay Howrah dining car is about to depart and passengers are requested to take their seats. In this gastronomical journey, our captains, the very lovely Maharashtrian Mulgi, Priya Barve, head of BrandLab APAC at Google, and the suave Bengali Babu Aniruddha Ganguly, CEO and co-founder of Negobot, will take you through a delectable fare comprising nutritious and generous dollops of inspiration as they share savory tidbits of their experience in starting a supper club in Singapore, bittersweet moments of trying to manage it all, the zesty flavors that go into making an energetic partnership, especially if you're a married couple working together, mixed with some rather entertaining masala procured from spices and herbs cultivated rather delicately over years of trust, camaraderie, respect, love and patience. All aboard!
I had good impressions. She didn't. We met in the third year of college, just as we were starting our MBA preparation. So we had a common friend who
introduced us.
I'll let you share.
That was the first impression. Yes.
Let her share
these
your.
These were the preparatory classes for the CAT exam.
CAT exam.
Okay. And this was the first class we were going for. It's the first time I met him. And he was the only one in the class, so I would say, 100 people? Probably, something like that, who argued with the professor who was trying to teach us.
Okay.
So that was my first impression of him. So I thought he was a bit arrogant at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first impression, not so positive. His clearly was.
Yeah. Like at first sight, and I think nothing at first sight.
Unsure at first sight.
Yeah. We went to this university, inter-university meet. We spent time on the trip and talked a lot, got to know each other, and there was a lot of juvenile leg pulling and all that good stuff. So that's probably been the arc for us as well, and I'm glad it has, that we've just started. I know it's a cliche, but as just very good friends, and only I'd say after 4 years of knowing each other, we figured out that we kind of. I liked her and she liked me, and so we both discovered that we liked each other from much before, and we could have probably, started seeing each other earlier.
Yeah, but we didn't.
But it was always this friendship and kind of there was banter, and I'm glad that is, because that's still the case.
I think my childhood was normal. I grew up in Bandra in Bombay. My mom, when I was growing up, was a homemaker. She started working a little later in life. Dad was always at the office. My grandparents lived very close by, so I used to divide my time almost equally between our house and theirs. I went to an all-girls school, so I'm not sure in what way that has shaped who I am today. Education was absolutely important.
Yeah, non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable at home. I used to learn music when I was in school, and that was greatly encouraged in my family, because most of my family comes from a sporting background. Okay. So my mom played badminton, my grandmom and her sisters played badminton. So they were just thankful that somebody in the family could do something else.
Sorry, your great-grandfather is Professor Deodar.
Yes, so my great-grandfather is Professor.
This apple has fallen very far from the tree. Catch a ball to save her life. Yeah, I grew up in Dadar, as she said, Matunga, so very much the heartland of Bombay. Both parents are doctors. Mom worked right through my childhood. I have an older sister who is much more brighter and accomplished than I am, so I'm used to strong women in my life. I grew up with my grandparents at home, so my father's father and my grandmother were both with us. I used to love listening to stories from my grandfather, which makes my whole love of reading and comics, and she makes fun. I love to go to the library and read comics. I'm a huge comic fan. Part of the whole education thing also, what was very much encouraged at home was to ask questions. My grandfather, I could ask him 50 whys and he'd always tell me this and that. So she says, incessantly curious. If I'm on a holiday, I'd want to go and read every public statuary and who was that and why is that guy sitting on a horse.
Not just public statuary, any public notice about a historical fact.
Yeah, I love trivia and I'm there. And I will own up to that dysfunction. But yeah, I know it was always so. That's what got me into quizzing. Parents also were very I think both our parents are extremely supportive and I'd say broad-minded about whether our decision not to have children or whether it was, when we picked our partners, me going and doing a Bachelor of Commerce was a huge shock to my parents, and Bengali boys don't do it, and I was doing okay at school. What happened? But they never questioned it, and they said, yeah, if that's what you want to do, fantastic, no problem.
I always wanted to do marketing. So even when I was planning for the MBA, it was always going to be a marketing degree, and then to join a company, sort of be in brand management, brand marketing. And I started in advertising first, then moved over back into the client side. There, I would say it was slightly uncharted, and I let that happen depending on how and where the opportunities came up. Yeah.
Bachelor of Commerce was interesting because I knew I would do something in a business and corporate kind of setting. I cleared this part one of my chartered accountancy, this is what we call the foundation course, but I realized that then I would sacrifice all my extracurriculars in college, and there was quizzing and jam and this and that, so I wanted to do all that. So then that brought me to the MBA. Post that, I think the biggest thing I enjoy, and when I get to do more of it, I'm happy at work. When I get to do less of it, I'm less happy at work, is problem solving. As she said, I'm an ideas person. I like solving problems, and what that gravitated me towards consulting. I really loved it. It's a tough life, and it's an intense lifestyle. That took me into sort of group strategy and then change management, and then sort of running a business vertical. Well, you're getting hitched to her.
Yeah, I think marriage definitely was a big turning point.
Turning point.
No,
it was all going well till then.
I didn't say it was down. It just was a turning point.
No, it is. It was an important milestone for both of us. I think.
So I would say marriage first. The move to Hong Kong for me was a big turning point. It was the first time I was living outside
Sydney
India.
there for me.
I wouldn't live in Hong Kong now at this stage of our life and careers.
But live there. It's just the housing, and we got comfortable here. Singapore is...
Yeah, I think Hong Kong is a stage of life city, and I think we were there at the right stage of life. For me, it was
awesome.
An amazing experience. It was an opening to so many new things, new experiences. The first time we were living away from home, parents, setting up house on our own.
Second time for me.
Yes.
Yeah. I had done that before, but first time as a couple.
First time as a couple.
Yeah. Business school was a big milestone for me. I was really fortunate to go to a good school, and I made some friendships that are amazing, and with some people who are just unfairly smart. I went to Ahmedabad.
I know that a lot of people who are into cooking who say I was always born to cook, or the first time I held a knife I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. It wasn't the case with me.
Okay.
My early years I remember sort of spending time in the kitchen, so either when mom was cooking or when my grandmom was cooking. Because I went to a girls' school, we had home science.
Okay.
So there was already some exposure to the basics of cooking, etc. So it's sort of, for me it's built over the years. I would say it was a step change after marriage. Because now suddenly you have to be cooking and you have to be self-sufficient with cooking. Till then you were living...
Food obsessive husband.
And a food obsessive husband. But till then, mom was in charge of cooking at home. So you didn't really have to get that involved. But I would say once marriage happened, my interest in cooking definitely started to go up.
Yeah, so for me, I just love food. And I love good food, and I love
He loves eating.
tastes, and I love eating. And I was in Sydney and I just wasn't getting good Indian food.
Okay.
Very bad Indian food from this place we had near my home, this classic curry takeout place, and I just got sick of it, and I called mom and I said, Mom, I need to cook because this doesn't work. I had a decent palate, so I kind of knew great food versus good food versus average food, So I would call mom and ask her teach me, and she'd walk me through a recipe, and then I try it. It would be okay to average. It would get better. It would get better. No, it was right.
Yeah,
I
gets better
and this is me just doing it at home alone with my flatmate in Sydney. I made I cooked a chicken thing, and I made it chicken curry, just a chicken curry. And I used one of those, and I'm ashamed to say this, I used one of those ready-made masala pop. So I went to the Indian grocery store. It was better than, I tell you what, it was better than that curry takeout place. That's for damn sure. But I could make, and maybe it's a problem-solving thing, right? Because then you go, so I know this has not worked as well, and maybe the onions needed to be overdone, or need to be fried a little more next time. So then at the next iteration, that I have solved for X, now let's move to Y. So, and that's what we cook for. I think to a large extent, it's while it's
to make others happy.
Yeah, to make others happy.
When we got to a point where we really enjoyed cooking, the next question obviously was, what can we do about this?
Right.
Can we commercialize it in any way? Can we do something on a scale that we can, share this passion with other people? And that's when I started researching, and I came across this concept of supper clubs in Europe. That's when I first chanced upon the idea, and it was instantly appealing, yet a bit frightening, because it meant inviting people home to enjoy your food.
And introvert, you said.
Yes, I am. I'm shy. Both of us are in different ways.
But
he can overcome it, at least in the way he comes across. I sometimes can't. So that's how the idea sort of started. And then we were like, okay, then this is where, the debates and the stuff happen, is what should this supper club be about? And that, I think we took a long time to figure that out. Being on Masterchef definitely helped. So the idea to do a supper club was already in
something we were talking about it before.
But we started putting. I got the push. I started,
and the confidence, perhaps.
And the confidence to do it.
She came up with the idea that, look, our regional cuisine doesn't travel very well, especially Marathi food.
Yeah.
The number of people who think vada pav is Marathi food is just so galling and so annoying.
And nobody's really experienced what Maharashtrians eat at home.
Yeah.
So I felt there was a lot within our local cuisines, and there's so many varieties even within.
And that's true with all communities, by the way. I think many people think Punjabis are only eating butter chicken every day. It's not. Yeah, exactly. And Bengali food is a little more popular, but still.
That was my perception before. I got we got engaged, and I got to know the cuisine better. That they only eat fish.
Right.
But the fact that they have such a well-developed vegetarian cuisine.
Vegetarian cuisine is awesome.
So that was exactly the perception we were trying to, overcome. And I think where my journey on the show helped is in stuff like, how do we present the food? So the fact that it will be plated. We didn't want to do the very traditional way of serving the food because I think that's sort of expected. We wanted to have that element of surprise when people came over. That the way the dish is presented, the way we describe it, doesn't look or sound like something you'd have at home. But when you eat it, it tastes like either something from
the flavors and the notes are the same, but it's just done in a innovative kind of way.
So we don't experiment with the flavors. We're true to stuff that we've grown up eating or what we've experienced. But we do experiment a lot with the form, the plating, adding on elements that you wouldn't expect to see in that dish. So, and that's where we spend most of our time. Talking about
debating, arguing, constructively debating.
Yeah. We just started lining up people that we thought would be, good guests, would give us good feedback, would be good to trial this with. And then, that's how the next 6 months went. 500 diners have come and
at our supper. So we do once a fortnight, and it's a table of 8 at our dining table.
Some they've just chanced upon the concept somewhere, so they're just curious to try it. Some are repeat guests, so they want to keep coming back.
Actually, a lot of our guests now are repeat guests, which is nice. Some do come with the request of, someone's husband's birthday, a wife's birthday, a friend is leaving Singapore, a lot of, population coming and going out of this city. So some of it is occasion based, but most of it I would say is just people wanting to bunch of friends want to go out
different.
and they want to experience something a bit different.
Yeah.
And that's that's the other gratifying thing, that it's not just the food, but they really enjoy the experience. They come home and they sort of find our home nice, and hopefully our company interesting, and
And that's something I think we learned as we did more of these, that food wasn't the only thing people were coming for. The experience was almost as important.
The dinner itself at the table lasts for 2.5. And then they would spend probably an hour before sitting and having a drink, and we also kind of introduce ourselves, get to know them a little better. And then invariably after dinner, when we have finished service, we'll sit down with them again and chat. We like to ask a little bit about your social profile or something, and nowadays with your Facebook profile, you'll find out, you have common friends, and it's
just
very small world. And
somebody's working somewhere that someone else, or working in an interesting place. We had somebody who used to work in airline leasing who was a guest. So after dinner, we got an education in airline leasing, which was fascinating. So that's for us also. That's apart from the creativity of making those dishes, presenting it to these guests. The conversation post dinner
is fascinating. Fantastic.
Is fascinating. Initially, there was nervousness and I think there's nervousness on both sides. Obviously for us, equally for the guests, because they don't know whose home they're coming into, what are they going to eat. But I think what we found is because the profile of most of the guests is actually very similar to ours in terms of, let's say, both
working professionals,
yeah,
entrepreneurs as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sort of the professional backgrounds are quite similar. The first half an hour before we serve dinner, we invariably strike a chord. You know, by the time we get to the table and we start serving and introducing the dishes, it's like we already have some degree of familiarity with the guests. We trial a lot of the stuff before it reaches the menu. So any disagreements will then get, we'll put it on a plate, taste it, figure out how it looks. And if it works, then it's on the menu. If it doesn't, then it changes.
And we find out sometimes we put something on the menu and I think we will go back and kind of debrief as well, saying, that I don't think struck the chord.
Because we're also looking for guests' reactions. Like, did they enjoy something? Because you know when somebody has truly liked it, that they will talk about it. So if it's someone who's coming back again, then either we'll revisit the menu we had when they had first come.
So we save all our menus. Yeah. So we'll go back and check,
what did they like?
So Nana came last time, so what did she like? And remember, Ashish liked this or this one like that or something like that.
After every...
No.
I mean,
it's in
500 guests now, it's like fairly familiar for those who are at least coming back often.
If we do this for 5 more years, we need a CRM system.
Yes.
No, but true, it's kind of...
And then we know which of our guests like to experiment or those who want to try new things from us. So in which case for them, there will be a new menu every time they come back. There are some who just want to repeat the favorites. So then, we'll make sure we bring those back. If it's a completely new set of guests, then we know which dishes have always worked. So that menu gets planned.
We like to say the favorites, the hits.
The hits. The Bombay Horror hits come onto that menu.
So we do a 6-course tasting menu. That's how it works. An appetizer or a cold kind of palate cleanser, then 2 mains
and 2 desserts.
And 2 desserts.
It's equally divided.
I know bong.
I know some of the bong dishes.
So she knows the bong dishes better than I know the Marathi. I mean, obviously, I know the Marathi dishes, but it's equally divided. We do gravitate, I'd say, within that probably.
He prefers cooking the protein. So any meat dish is what he prefers. I gravitate more towards dessert.
Baking and dessert. And
let's say the appetizer courses.
Yes.
So I love working with dough. So any dough related stuff, whether it's biscuits, pie, bread, generally is stuff that I would naturally end up doing. The decision to take part on this show was spur of the moment. We saw the call for auditions happen in Singapore. I was like, okay, I'll send an audition tape. And that was about as much I was expecting to do. I was like, there's no way anyone's calling me after they see this audition tape. Then, the call for auditions came.
What did you make in that audition tape?
I made, you asked him what was the first thing he remembered cooking. The first thing I ever cooked, at least my mom insisted, was making chapatis. She's like, this is one of the most technically difficult things to do. So on that audition tape, I make the chapati, but in particular, I show them how it puffs up when you put it on the flame. So the producers later on, one of them at least told me, that when we saw that happen in the video, that's what got us. So I was like, thank God. Technically, I think I learned a lot. I don't think I was as prepared as I thought I would be. And by seeing how my fellow contestants were thinking about dishes, plating dishes, I definitely grew, I would say, as a cook. It solidified the fact that I wanted to focus on regional flavors. So, before I went in, I don't think our supper club would have had the same concept as it does now.
Yeah. Go to your roots.
I think going to the roots was definitely something I came away from. Saying that, I saw so many of them. We had contestants from Vietnam, Taiwan, Thailand. And I saw them, bring their flavors to the forefront. And that's something I definitely took away from that experience. So those two, I think what I didn't expect it to do is add a lot to my professional journey. So today, for example, when somebody sees the Masterchef experience on my CV, there's that little
flavor to that.
Surprise. It's like, you've done something that was unexpected, that you don't expect to see on a professional CV. That's something I had not anticipated at that point. I thought people would look at it and say, oh she took a month off from work and she did this. When I first walked into my manager's office at that time, he thought I was putting in my papers. When he heard where I was going, it took him a moment to collect himself and he's like,
The papadoi, I would say, is so we have the steamed yogurt dish that is a Bengali recipe, but Priya has perfected it, which is that really works. Every guest has universally loved that dish.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it has the notes of a cheesecake and it's very good balance.
Yeah.
I think that always works.
For me in particular, and you asked me who my favorite chef was, which was Thomas Keller.
Okay.
So when I was leafing through his recipe book, he has a tomato sorbet as one of the things on his menu for the summer menu that he does at the French
Don't
Laundry.
go cold with that.
And we have this soup in Maharashtrian cuisine called tomato sour. It's made with tomato and coconut milk. Normally served warm. His encouragement was serve it cold like a gazpacho. But when I saw the tomato sorbet recipe, that gave me the inspiration to turn this very traditional soup into a sorbet. So the most surprising dish, I would say, one of the most surprising dishes on our menu is this very Indian soup that gets served as this cold savory sorbet. Dessert, I find the most creative space to be in.
Sure.
Because there's really no limit to savory, sweet, number of flavors. And people expect you to go crazy a little with desserts. With mains, you sort of have to be on the slightly safer side. Yeah, it's like, almost if you did something safe, it would disappoint people. That you take that leap, I think, would make them happier.
We are hosted on this home dining portal called Bon Appetit, which is a Singapore-based portal.
Yeah.
And we open up dates from time to time because we're kind of booked out a few weeks in advance.
Yeah.
But that's one place to look for us. But another good idea is to just follow us on Facebook. So we have a Bombay Howrah Dining Car Facebook page.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram. And but on Facebook you can message us just on Facebook Messenger, and we can. That's how many people are communicating with us, and we'll let them know of a date that's coming up.
I would say it would be a mix between people who are foodies, so for whom the draw is the food, and the other would, I would say...
But that's how it's supposed to be, right?
No, but there's also a set who are experience seekers.
Experience seekers.
Yeah, so I would say it's almost divided between the two of them.
Okay.
That there are some who come to us because they simply just want to try the cuisine, they've seen photos of what we've served in the past and it's attracted them. And some who like the concept that we are doing, so they're seeking the experience, and the food is a secondary part for them.
They like travel.
Yeah.
They're well traveled. They also seek experiences, because if you're just, to Priya's point, if you're just about the food, then you'll probably pick like a restaurant. We've got that question from friends who've come before, and I find that surprising. 8.
Right. Can we get 9 people?
No, you can't.
Where do you want
because
to
one guy can't sit to somewhere else. It's 8. If we scale this up, it will be in a different way. It won't be in this way. Then maybe it's taking over a shop house and then making that a creative space and making a long table. But it won't be this plus a little bit more. We make certain sauces and condiments.
Again, keeping to the same theme of Bombay and Howrah, it would be to pick up flavors that people haven't experienced and may want to carry home with them, rather than just eat at our dining table.
Right.
It will be specialty foods if you did. It's Facebook and it's word of mouth. I mean, we're doing it at such it's a limited scale with an even keel. So obviously, if we wanted to scale this up and now reach from 500 to pick a number, 10,000 people, this won't work. But we haven't needed to, so we've just stuck with this.
But one of the things we did do when we first started is we took the concept to Bombay.
Oh yeah.
So I think a month from when we officially sort of started this was way back in
the Chinese New Year holidays in February, that's right. Yeah.
We hosted friends and family back in Mumbai.
Because she had also been on Masterchef, so they were curious.
So everybody was curious at that time, saying, what are the two of you up to? So it was a way of just treating family and friends to the concept. That was a mammoth effort, I would say. Huge. But it paid off, because a lot of our friends back there wrote to their friends in Singapore saying, these two are starting this, go and try it out.
Cuisine is a very large part of it, 100%.
Yes.
Last year we were in Paris, Vienna, Budapest. Food is a very large part of that. So we joke about the fact that she gets us there.
And my job is to get us to the place.
Then I take over.
His job is to take over local
restaurants, Lonely Planet, TripAdvisor a little. All multi-sources, articles.
Yeah.
Let's no for not for this
I execute
for the holiday.
The booking of the trip.
She gets the trip. She gets us there.
Yeah.
So once we are in New York,
hotels,
Beyond that,
flights.
it is.
then I need to find the Jewish deli that does good pastrami on the street, and then we go somewhere else. And so that's how we kind of divide.
Yeah.
So your birthday gifts are more to do with recipe books and
Yes.
Yeah.
is it?
So that
really?
KitchenAid over there was my birthday gift to myself.
Okay. Yeah.
So we don't give birthday gifts to each other as well. We buy ourselves something
Yeah.
that we want. So 1 year was that. The next year was my cycle, which is downstairs in our basement.
Called the Nespresso.
So you cycle?
Yeah.
It's a book we both do on weekends.
Or actually, occasionally, and I mean, I'm going to get back into that rhythm.
So when I say
to work.
cycle, it's not like the marathon
Yeah, okay.
triathlon
it's
cycling.
urban
Just
cycle.
urban cycling. A lot of Indian preparations, like if you're making a mixed vegetable.
You're going to anyway cook it.
And it's got like onions and masalas and whatever else, then it has to take that time. The organics have been lost.
Right.
So, like if you use these fancy salts, it's good as a final sprinkle. If you're putting a fancy salt in a
tadka.
Sure.
curry,
Yeah.
I think you're just
You're wasting it.
What's typical Indian ingredients? Are there some? I don't think you can source everything in Singapore itself.
Yeah.
You get?
You'll be surprised.
except poppy seeds.
Because that's not allowed in Singapore.
Okay.
Only a couple of select things, like if I want kokum, so I have to get that from Bombay or like
So somebody ships it for you, or
So either I pick up enough
Yeah, we buy in batches.
and refrigerate it, or when my family is visiting, they have. So my sister, the first thing she asks when she books the ticket is, "What do you want?" Because and it starts like a month out, because she knows that till the last day I will keep adding stuff to that list.
okay.
Oh, yes, I know. And then I don't get things I want.
Yeah. So then whether it's the chilies, certain spices that we won't get here. Cardamom.
Cumin.
I like the fragrance and it's sweet.
Okay. What about you?
Cumin. I like most dishes cooked with cumin.
Yeah.
Fried onions.
I love it.
I love fried onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a food ulcer too.
Yeah.
It's bacon.
Bacon. For me, it's sev batata puri.
Okay.
Closely followed by pav bhaji.
Frankie.
Frankie.
Lying.
I like
He's
Frankies.
lying.
I like Frankies. I like the kati roll more than the Frankie.
See?
but Frankie. Bombay, so it's a Bombay street food. My favorite movie, I mean, it changes. Okay, I'll give you a couple. So I love The Godfather. One, The Godfather. I love The Third Man, which is
Oh my God.
It's a fantastic movie. I'm trying to convince her to see for the longest time. It's not succeeding. I love the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. It's an underrated movie which is very, very good.
I don't have a specific movie. I mean, I enjoy many different types.
Ooh, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I like.
She struggles with naming a favorite, as you will
Yeah,
know. It's not
yeah.
one dish, one movie, but a few.
But there's one movie that the two of us always watch.
Oh yes, that's true actually.
Every New Year's Eve, and it's
Ah.
Love Actually.
Oh yeah, we love watching Love Actually.
Don't ask us why. It's like
It's just a
become
funny
ritual.
movie, and it's not
become a ritual.
cheesy. I talk a lot, but I'm actually an introvert.
Okay.
I'm reasonably voluble, also as parties and all. But when we do these Myers-Briggs tests, and she knows that I'm an introvert, but people are extremely surprised if I say I'm an introvert, but I am.
I think most people think I'm a bit cold, but the reality is I'm actually just shy. So it takes a lot to get me to open up. But a lot of people perceive that as, I have this.
Yeah, she's more enthusiastic about trying new things than I am.
Yes,
I'm much more grumpy.
Yeah.
But then you put me in front of some people and I go,
Yeah. And then he's like
I'm the
spark
life
of the party.
apple pie with ice cream. Yeah, kind of popped the question over apple pie and ice cream.
Oh.
Against my wishes. But, yeah.
Against your vision.
He wasn't planning to do
No,
it
I
on
wasn't
that
planning
day.
to do it then, and she said, no, we're going to talk about it now, and then I ordered dessert, and I said, okay, it's
Yeah.
fine. Adopting Veera.
Yes,
our dog has been a very successful experiment.
That's like the dog. Who's she more possessive about?
Him.
No, is that true?
Him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, she's the closest to our helper because they're really good friends.
Right.
Yeah.
They play with her and there's their sisters.
Sisters.
Exactly. So, okay, I don't know.
I think it's closer to him. No, but the experiment that has worked is the supper club.
Yeah, sorry. Let's talk about that.
It's like the biggest gamble
the bigger
we had.
experiment. Yes.
The biggest experiment we've tried.
Yeah,
It's been
and that's worked
2.5 years.
and 500 guests. Welsh rarebit. So it's basically an English cheese toast.
Okay.
Because she likes cheese toast.
Okay.
It's a bit crusty on one side. It's a bit hard, but on the other side, it's actually very soft and very gooey and very nice.
I would say any pie dish represents Aniruddha. I think the outside is, as he said, it appears a certain way, but the inside is very different.
Okay, I don't know if that's a compliment.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
No. So it looks very exuberant from the outside, but it's a little
Very
more
dark
subdued.
and dim in the inside.
Maybe I was going to say grumpy in the inside, but anyway. Patience.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
No, I'm
I was going to say love. No, it's true. It's patience. No, patience.
No, I mean, love
empathy.
is like
Empathy.
I would say given for a marriage
true.
that's been so long.
I'm kidding. I'm just pulling her leg because it's humor is also one of those foundations. Patience. Patience out of not out of a sort of silent bearing of misery. I hope
not that.
It's empathy. It's if you understand where the other person is coming from. If Priya's giving me a tough message about something, why is she saying it? Is she just saying it to be mean? No, she's saying it for my own. Yeah. As parents used to say, I'm saying it for your own good. You're on the same page on many things. The values are the same. You are pulling in the same direction. You want the same things out of life.
I think the idea of the experience has helped me more. Is how do you shape an experience up, because we do a lot of that even in my workspace.
Sure.
So just figuring out what somebody would like, tailoring an experience to them, I would say are insights that I've taken away. And to some extent, what I think the supper clubs gives me more than anything else is just the element of creativity. So finding ways to bring that back into my day job is, I would say, the linkages that I try to make.
Okay. And what about you?
For me, I think one of my insights has been, this certainly the commercial aspect of it is not at all important. It's the pleasure and the fun we get out of it. So it has made me reflect on a little more broadly rather than tools I bring to work every day about what I ought to do with my working life and if I really enjoy doing this, because we come home on a Friday evening pretty tired from the whole week and we start cooking at 7 in the evening, finish at 11, the next morning we're at it again till 7 in the evening, the guests come. I do it because I like it, otherwise I'd be insane to do this, right? So to actually bring some of that to what I do at work and to make sure I keep asking myself that question, are you really having fun? And if you're not, then what could you do to have fun at work and craft your career accordingly?
I think what it gives, at least me, and I don't know about, is we keep talking about work-life balance, especially in. This is my work-life.
This is our work-life.
Our work-life.
Our work-life.
Yeah.
This is. So look, I think it kind of weaves back to weaves in some of the things we discussed earlier, right? Is one doing what one enjoys? Are you good at it? And does the world need it in some sense? Because the world needs it. Either you will get money, recognition, social capital, something for that.
Yeah, success so far for me has been about accumulating experiences. So there have been points in the career where I have chosen not to take the next sort of step within an organization I was in. And that was a conscious decision. Because it was that I could leave and do something else. So for me so far that's been what I have defined as success, that I have managed to do so many different things in my career. Such a different thing personally as well, which I would never have expected. But I think for me, going ahead, I think if I had to look back from, let's say, when I was 78 years old, I think what I don't think we've managed yet is a legacy. So what do we want to be remembered for? That for me would be what success would look like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Always wanting to try new things.
Okay.
I think I personally would get bored if I did the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
So even with the supper club, I think the question that I keep asking myself is what next? And of course, we get asked this question by all our guests as well. But yeah, I mean, if I look back on what has kept me going forward, is always what's the next thing to do? You know, what's the next experience to accumulate, and that's what would continue to drive me forward.
Okay.
I am curious, and I hope I continue to be curious about how the world works, about how things work,
But she said the same thing almost. I mean, you've got to try new things. You've got to be.
No, I'm happy to do that from an armchair as well. So that's the
He's happy
thing.
to sit in that chair.
Happy to sit in one
read
chair and just figure out how the world
and
works.
satisfy his curiosity. I'm more like I want to do it and satisfy.
No, to be fair, yeah, and that's a good compliment because she's more experiential. I'm more knowledge seeking in some sense. So
Right.
So
I'm definitely the one who tries more things more often, which means new type of music, new sort of hobby.
Exactly. She introduced me to
rap,
music.
and hip-hop.
I thought all good music ended in 1970, right? So, wow, there's some interesting music post 1970, which is very interesting.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.